Hi folks, have we bottomed yet? Have the markets bottomed yet for stocks and crypto? The news came out and Trump basically caved, however you want to call it. I would say he caved and he basically says 90 days on everybody else except China and Mexico and Canada. So he basically walks back the tariffs and markets having a big bounce. Now, but is this the bottom? Or is this another fake bull trap like what happened yesterday? Let's have a look at the market action and see what is happening and how the markets need to prove to us. They need to show strength is what I'm saying. Okay, so for example, like Bitcoin, this is like a 6%, 8% bounce. But however, you do realize that this is nothing compared to some of the stock indexes. Look at this, okay? So look at this. Dow Jones, like that's the third largest stocks in the US. They're doing an 8% bounce. S&P 500 doing a 10% bounce. NASDAQ doing an 11.5% bounce. NASDAQ ETF, 100 ETF doing a 12% bounce. So if an ETF of the largest stocks in the United States are doing a bounce as big as that, then that's actually not a big bounce considering how much more volatile Bitcoin is compared to the stock indexes. So does this look like a bottom to us? But before we answer that question, first let's answer which crypto exchange does Pablo use? Well, Pablo uses an exchange that is non-KYC. That means you don't need to show your ID. That means the exchange can't even see who you are. That means, of course, then the IRS can't see you, the CIA can't see you, and that means the FBI, CIA, nobody can see you. That's why Pablo likes them, and I've made this deal with them where my followers can win up to $8,000 of newbie benefits just by joining, signing, and trading. Right. So if you're 1.3 million users already, the largest non-KYC exchange in the world, and also the fastest growing exchange in the world. So if you are watching this on YouTube, then the link is in the description below. My link is in the description below. But if you're watching this on another platform, such as this one, then basically just click on my profile page, and then there's the stand link. We click on the stand link, and it's the first thing that pops up, the Bitunix deal. That's because it's a big deal, and but only on the Pablo link. Okay, let's get back to the markets, folks. So first of all, let's start in the order of looking at the stocks and where they're going, because like I said, do folks finally, maybe there's like 50%, 40% of folks out there who just don't believe that Bitcoin follows the stock market. And if you look at it, they bottom and they top almost at the same time. Bitcoin and crypto and ETH might front run the weakness in stocks sometimes, but they pretty much bottom and top at the same time. And those markets are much larger than Bitcoin, so they're much more influential. So let's have a look at if we think this bounce in the stocks are real. If that is real, then, and if they get back to the old all-time high or even make a new all-time high, then I would think the odds would be very good for Bitcoin to make a big bounce, or even for Ethereum to make a big bounce. So let's have a look to see if the bounces are real or not. Now this one is DIA. That's the ETF for Dow Jones. I haven't looked at this one much, but now that I look at it after the Trump tweet, look at this. This was basically it went 2 days below this long-term trend line, and once again, this was the COVID crash low. And if it doesn't bounce from here, if it loses this level closes below here on the weekly, then there's an 80% chance that's it. It's over. Basically, it's gonna bounce like this off the long-term supporting trend line and just go down, like what we've seen on Ethereum right now. The more important index is, however, the SP 500. SP 500. I've said this on my Twitter. I've said this in my Discord and in my last number of videos. I kept on saying that 480 level here, 480 level is crucial because, again, it's this the red line here, long-term supporting trend line that has supported the US SP 500 stock market since the COVID crash. This was the COVID crash. Looks tiny now, doesn't it? Since March 2020. And if we were to break that or close below that, then the stocks are in real trouble. So we had the supporting line here in the red, and we also had this blue supporting line here, which was the old high. So that makes this area a very good area for bounce. I said I didn't know Trump was going to cave and give everyone 90 days except China, but I did say that we should get at least a massive bounce off this point, right? This, I don't think we go through here, this support level that easily, this 480 level. And so far we've had like a 10% bounce. For Bitcoin and for Ethereum to confirm strength, we need this candle daily or weekly to close above at least 525, right? And somewhere close, the next resistance are basically 565, 566, right? Around this area, 560s, low 560s. And if we can get a weekly close somewhere around here, then that will show us a lot of strength and with a possibility of extending this bounce. So two scenarios for Bitcoin and for the stock market, because Bitcoin is going to follow the stock market, as I think I've shown you guys already. It's either going to do a lazy right shoulder and get stopped at this 565, but more likely this 585 area, and everything tops out, and that's it. We're going to a long-term, like a year or so bear market, big correction with recession, stagflation, because of the Trump tariffs and everything, or there's a chance we do something like this, bounce sideways, bull flag, and boom, a blow off top. That's still a possibility, especially if the Fed was to cut rates. So let's have a look at the NASDAQ. Okay, the NASDAQ, basically same thing. For folks who have been watching my video, I said we're probably going to get a bounce around this 15.3, low 15K area, and that's where we got the bounce. So you can see the area of resistance around here. So it needs to stay above 16.7K, right? So far looking so good. And we've got the daily close here. And then over the next week or two, you've got 18.0 and 18.5, something like this. Again, chance for a right shoulder, right? A right shoulder, and then we go down, and that's end of the stock market bull run, and that'll end it for Bitcoin as well. But I still think if the Fed comes out with support, if Trump does the right thing, then we can still have a blow off top. Okay. Now QQQ, well, this was easy because QQQ, I said the support is at 400 area, right? And look at this, bounced pretty much off 402 because this was the old high. Here was the COVID crash. This was the all-time high. Small bear market. We go up, bounce off the top of the old high of December 2021, and then big bounce here. Closing above 448 is crucial to establish some strength in QQQ. That's the NASDAQ 100 ETF, and then something like this. Boom, 503, 505 area. That area we can possibly do another lazy right shoulder and come down, but if it consolidates, goes sideways here, then I think a blow off top is still quite possible. So now let's have a look at Bitcoin and crypto and Ethereum. Okay, with Bitcoin, if you're in my Discord or if you've been watching my last couple of videos, I've been saying that it's forming a falling wedge. So we have the red trend line here and the blue trend line here, and that's a wedge, but it's pointing down, so it's called a falling wedge. It got very close to my my target of 73K, hit 74, like 74.3, and I can't rule out one more dip onto 73K and bounce. But so far, I mean, this is like a 8% bounce, so it's not as excited as the stock indexes. From here, I would think it really needs to prove itself by closing over this area. This is like 86K. So see this trending blue line? It got rejected like it's like a number of times here. I think I have it on natural chart. So here's the log chart. Now we can see it better. So you can see that Bitcoin bounced off this area like once, twice, 3 times, 4, 5 times, right? Here was my ABC pattern, A, B, of this 87.5K area, and C coming very close to the target. So I can't rule out one more dip before we go up. As long as this line isn't broken, I mean, you've never had a close over it. If we had at least one close over this line, this blue trend line, then we can start, talking about Bitcoin making a run for 100K, above 100K. I think we should get, stocks should bounce higher, like I said just now, a few minutes ago. And therefore, I think Bitcoin should bounce higher as well and go at least above 100K. Then the question is, does it go up more to make a blow off top like the stocks? And I think it depends on stocks. Yeah, it depends on stocks. It's for people who are not happy with that answer. I think over the last 3 weeks, you've seen how powerful the stock market is in terms of dictating the price action on Bitcoin and Ethereum and all the altcoins. And basically all of this bounce is just because, Trump, caved and ended the 90-day the 90-day thing on made it a 90-day negotiating period for all the other countries. So have a look at this. For Ethereum, I'm using the weekly chart here, because on the weekly chart we're showing a big bottoming tail here, right? It needs to close this way by the end of the week. Now, like you can see, a couple of these bottoms had big, like that's kind of a long tail, but that's not a typical bottoming tail. So here and here were nice bottoming tails, right? Weekly, and ETH kind of bottomed and went up from there. So this particularly, if we close something like this, right, and then if we particularly if the Fed was to come in and end QT in the next few days or week or so, then this could look really good for Ethereum. So just quickly, the Ethereum resistance levels are around this 17. I'm on log charts. Around this 1765 level, and then 2000, and then 2150. So long way back for ETH. But I think if Bitcoin makes a new all-time high or gets above 100K, then ETH should have a very big bounce. Yeah. Okay. So thank you for all the guys watching, and for the Aussies, Pablo uses SwiftX exchange. My link is in the description below. For everyone else, thank you for your time. I'll catch you another day.